friends of color. They do each other's hair. They play outside. They ride bikes like kids do. They don't see this crap. And you're right, it's crap. There were bad comments, vulgarity that was thrown, spewed on both sides. Let me make that clear. Both sides. I got death threats. She may have gotten threats. But I'm telling you, it was both ways. But I stand behind putting it on social media because my husband and I did do the appropriate measures. We did go to the school, the principal and Peggy Burke. They were working with us, don't get us wrong. They knew, they notified us that this incident happened. I was very clear about that in my statement. It was the week after. It was coming in on Monday, because this all happened Thursday, Friday. So coming in Monday, we could get nowhere. We were stonewalled by Shiloh Police Department 3 times before we got anywhere. Ridiculous. Then we were stonewalled with the school because Chad, my husband, was calling, but we couldn't get any answers. So my daughter's going day by day by day, not coming to school. You know, she's losing her education. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm going to homeschool. Oh my God, I couldn't do that. I don't know what to do. Do I put her in a different district? We were at a loss. I worked 50 hours a week. I had to take off 4 days just to be with her and try to figure out the situation. This is the first time that we have encountered something like this. Okay, so I agree with you that there were things on both sides, but this is not about race. This is about bullying. You all showed up today not to have a racial war, because you're right, our school's full of diversity. That's why I moved to Belleville, if you really want to know. I lived in a small country town where if you saw a person of color, they were nicknamed that color. I didn't want my 4 daughters living in that and growing up in that. I wanted them to know diversity. I want them to love who they want to love. So that's the end of it. I will not discuss it not one more time, because that is not what this is about, period. Okay? Thank you for letting me get that out there. I also understand, and I also put misinformation on my video by saying that you all were paid, correct? I want you to know that I do know now that you are not paid, that you volunteer your services here as the school board, you pay for your own signs, you get your own votes. I want to thank you as a parent for doing that. I apologize that I said that you got paid. You know, I do know that our money does pay for the teachers and our administration, but I didn't realize your, gosh, that's hard to say, like what you guys did, the board, in direct relation to what was going on in the actual schools, if that makes sense, okay? So I wanted to apologize for that. I feel like this is not about Ava. For us and our family, it's about Ava, but really in reality, I did not realize that this was an issue in our schools until I did hit social media. And I was very raw. I cried. I was sad. I was upset. You have to realize that I have good friends who are teachers at Whiteside. Like friends that we go out on the weekends. So I was getting some information that was coming in from what was happening, because obviously superintendent and principal could not discuss that, and you did not discuss that. I want that to be made clear. Never once did you tell us what punishments were going to happen, anything. You did not give us information. The information we received were through teachers who had teachers meetings without administration involved, so we are told, and Channel 5 News, so, which was an absolute disaster. I just find that it's becoming an epidemic in our country. This is everywhere. I guess we have to start little, and you have to start in your community, and then you have to go from there. I'm not one of those people that sit behind the computer and scream. I'm one of those people that will get up and actually do something, and apparently you guys are like that too, because you all showed up. I appreciate you showing up for support for our children. We do have to change some policy. I need to address the fact that this did not just happen on February 1st and February 2nd to Ava. Physically, it happened to her on the 1st and the 2nd. Prior to that, the month before, things were happening with Ava. Her teachers I wish I could have her teachers stand up and tell you what kind of child she is, what kind of nature and nurture. She's not perfect, you're right, she's not. She's going to add to this world sometimes at home. but her teachers do sing her praises. And she has good friends. And it's not in her nature to fight. I noticed, and I did not put this on social media, but I am going to say it now, even if it does become public. Ava started doing things like withdrawing from the family. We would have family movie nights. We do that once a week. And she wouldn't participate. That was weird. We'd have family dinner every night. It's a thing. You gotta be there. Unless you're in sports, or your arm's falling off. You have to be at our kitchen table for dinner, family dinner. She was begging us not to do that. She was crying. She was putting pillows and blankets in a closet. That's weird. Okay, before all of this. So I grab her phone. I'm going through her phone. Apparently, I'm old because there are a ton of apps now. It's not just the Facebook these kids get on. In fact, they're really not on Facebook. They're on these Snapchats in these like remote world or whatever, right? And I'm trying to get into them and figure out who the heck is all these people. And there's in group chats, and it's going on in there. It's going on in there talking about Ava's paleness. And then other kids going back and forth against other kids that weren't nice either, okay? So I started seeing a pattern. And I was like, man, what's going on with our daughter? Talked to Chad about it, and then the situation happened. I feel when the situation happened, a lot of my tears came from like a mom fail. We all have those, parent fails. And I felt like I failed her because I knew something was going on with her, but my gosh, we worked 50, 60 hours a week, and I didn't know what was happening. Thank you, God, and I truly am saying that she did nothing to herself whatsoever. Thank you. That's all I can say at night is thank you that didn't happen. The fight really brought this to a head, and now I'm able to speak about it. For a living, I'm a mental health therapist. Not many people know this. I only work with people with severe mental illness and abnormalities. I also work very closely with the St. Louis City Police Department. I am certified and trained in suicide prevention and negotiation. I have laid on a bathroom floor on the other side of someone's door while she was trying to kill herself. Young woman, teens. This is a thing. This is happening. I want you to know that in my profession, 9 out of 10 people, young to old, who commit suicide or try to commit suicide and fail, have all came back to childhood trauma. Not all to bullying. Of course, there's a lot of abused children go through trauma. But a lot of these people talk about childhood trauma in their schools, whether it be with their parents, whether that be with their teachers. I see it firsthand every day on a daily basis. It is heartbreaking. I looked up the statistics because that's what we do in psychology. And in the last 3 years, we as a country has lost 2,070 children, ages 10 to 14. This means 2,070 families have had to bury their children in boxes. And I'm sorry that is just the fact. I know it sounds like I have no emotion about that, or I'm not. I know for a fact that there's somebody here today that lost a daughter who was 10 and hung herself. And she has given me permission to say that. And she's sitting in this room right now. And I told her I was going to talk about it. This is a thing. I'm scared. This community, I don't want any of our children, not your children, no children should ever get to the point where they feel like the last thing they have left is to kill themselves. For the love of God, people, I want my 10-year-old to be playing on bicycles and getting giddy over boys and still playing with dolls. They're going through enough. They're going through hormones, they're changing, their bodies are changing. I mean, my gosh, if you've ever seen a hormonal 12-year-old girl, you know what I'm saying? They're going through some things physically. So they don't need added pressure from going to school and not feeling safe. That's why I wanted to stand up. That's why I wanted to say something today about it. I do want to acknowledge that the school this week, you've been wonderful. You have called me and my husband regularly every day. Ava, I guess something happened today. I don't know. I'm not going to discuss that. I don't know any of that information. But you have dealt with it quickly, swiftly when she came back. She told me as of last night she feels safe. I asked her, does it embarrass you to have teachers walking around with you? Does it embarrass you in front of your students, your classmates? Oh no, I love it. I feel safe. It's the first time all year I have felt like I'm safe. And that matters. But you know what? Our teachers can't be everywhere 24/7. That's impossible, guys. Just can't do that. Can't go to the bathrooms, they're one person. So that's where I get to the end of what I want to say. I'm hoping you're bearing with me. Thank you. I wanted to discuss the logistics of everything. I guess this is what I would want you to write down so I can address it in a meeting with Mrs. Burke and the principal and whoever else would sit down with me. Illinois obviously has laws that they impose on you, the school board, to make policy, okay? The one that is the main one, the General Assembly finds that a safe and civil school environment is necessary for students to learn and achieve, that bullying causes physical, psychological, and emotional harm to students, and it also interferes with the student's ability to learn and participate in school activities. So that's what their definition is. Illinois' law policy on bullying, okay, so that's where this comes into, includes consequences and appropriate remedial actions for a person found to have falsely accused another of bullying as a means of retaliation